The human brain is arguably the most complex structure in the known universe. Weighing just over 3 pounds, it is a conglomeration of approximately 86 billion neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections with other neurons, giving rise to the almost limitless capacity for thought, emotion, and action. It's hard to overstate the importance of understanding the neuroanatomy of this incredible organ, so let's try anyway. In today's video, we're going to do a very high-level breakdown of the major structures of the brain, starting with the cerebrum, which makes up the largest portion of the brain, accounting for roughly 2/3 of its total mass. The cerebrum is divided into the hemispheres, left and right, which are then further subdivided into 4 lobes: frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital, each responsible for a variety of functions. The frontal lobe, the seat of higher-order thinking, reasoning, and planning, among many other things. The parietal lobe, which processes sensory information such as touch, temperature, pain, and pressure. The temporal lobe, which is crucial for auditory processing, memory, and language comprehension. And finally, the occipital lobe, which is responsible for processing visual input. Each of these lobes works in concert with the others to produce the rich tapestry of human experience. But there is another structure within the cerebrum that deserves special mention: the insula. This is a region of the brain that has been implicated in a wide range of functions, including consciousness, decision-making, and risk-taking. Interestingly, the insula is one of only a few regions of the brain that is not fully visible from the surface, as it is tucked away deep within the lateral sulcus, a large groove that runs roughly parallel to the sides of the brain. Next, let's turn our attention to the cerebellum, literally meaning small brain in Latin. Despite its name, the cerebellum is far from small, accounting for approximately 10% of the brain's total mass. It is a highly convoluted structure responsible for a variety of motor functions, including balance, coordination, and the timing of movements. Interestingly, the cerebellum does not solely reside at the back of the brain. In fact, it extends well down into the spinal cord, forming the caudal or tail end of the brainstem. Speaking of the brainstem, let's take a closer look at that structure now. The brainstem is essentially the foundation upon which the rest of the brain is built. It is the oldest part of the brain, evolutionarily speaking, and is responsible for many vital life functions, including breathing, heart rate, and consciousness. The brainstem is subdivided into 3 parts: the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. The midbrain, the uppermost part of the brainstem, is involved in a variety of functions, including motor control, sleep, and wakefulness, as well as the processing of auditory and visual information. The pons, which literally means bridge in Latin, is so named because it acts as a bridge between the cerebellum and the rest of the brain. The pons is also involved in the control of breathing. And finally, the medulla oblongata, which is the most caudal part of the brainstem, is responsible for a variety of vital functions, including the control of heart rate and blood pressure. Finally, let's briefly touch on some of the other structures that are nestled deep within the brain. First, we have the thalamus, which is a structure involved in the processing of sensory information and the control of motor functions. The thalamus is like a relay station for sensory information coming into the brain, except for smell. It filters and processes this information before sending it to the appropriate areas of the cerebral cortex for further processing. Next, we have the hypothalamus, which is a structure that is responsible for a variety of functions, including the regulation of body temperature, hunger, and thirst. The hypothalamus is like the boss of the endocrine system, which is the body's hormone regulation system. It does this by controlling the pituitary gland, which in turn controls the other glands of the endocrine system. Finally, we have the hippocampus, which is a structure involved in the formation of new memories. The hippocampus is like an old friend who remembers everything about you, but in exchange for that, you have to keep feeding him because he's always hungry. So there you have it, a very high-level overview of the major structures of the human brain. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.